Hey everyone, it's Matt, the Resale Champ, back with another video for you this week. And this week is going to be another short video talking about a very important subject to most sellers if you're on any online platform, and that is for customer feedback. Recently, Amazon has made some changes that realistically are just unbearable for customer feedback, making it to the point where it's almost something that you kind of have to ignore. And I'll explain. So let me get into it. Feedback used to be a thing that these sites would use for customer trust, right? We want to, buy from a customer or a seller that has really good feedback. And then on the other end too, we would look at, buyer feedback. Has he purchased before? Does he pay promptly? Well, that kind of has gone away, and that's not really a thing on eBay anymore. But specifically, I'm going to talk about eBay and Amazon today because those are the platforms I'm on. I know Mercari, Etsy, Posh, they all have feedback, and I can't really speak to those. So today I'm specifically kind of talking about eBay and Amazon. So eBay, I've been on there since 2000. And I haven't been selling full time, more in a couple of years. So my feedback on there is not, that high. But I will say, so for eBay, let me pull that up, and I'll just bear with me because I'm having to use my trackpad because the mouse is not working. So on eBay, you can see I've got 604 feedback, and they're all positive. So let me see if I can get that up a little. So I've got 100% positive feedback, and it says last 12 months, but that is lifetime. I've never had a neutral or negative feedback, knock on wood, on that account. So eBay does something they call seller protections, and they are very good about taking care of you. Now, some sellers might disagree with this. There's some sellers I know have gotten bad feedback and probably gotten some raw deals by eBay, and I understand that. I can only speak with myself specifically. Going to eBay Open, the ones that I've been to, eBay is very concerned about the seller and protecting you from unscrupulous buyers or buyers that would just tend to harm you and not, really be benefiting the overall system. So that's eBay. Now, the only changes they've done is actually for the good. They've introduced more and better buyer protections where they will automatically remove feedback and defects that come based on your seller performance. Amazon, not so much. So let me pull up Amazon. So Amazon used to have on the front page of the seller performance, Seller Central login, you would see at the bottom left, you would see a feedback. That's you would see it. So every morning I'd log in, I'd look at that to see if anybody had left a negative, so I could immediately go in there and address it. Obviously, 100% I felt was a better performance monitor, and my sales would be better. I believe that it was taken into account in the Amazon algorithm. Well, I couldn't tell you the last time I've had 100% on my Amazon feedback. So recently what's happened is they've made it harder and harder to get feedbacks removed. And now to the point where they've just come out and said, we're not doing it. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is the feedback manager. So the way to get to this now, if you want to see your feedback, so if you're new to Amazon or you just started selling, which would be the new to Amazon. Okay, so you go to, let me make this bigger, and just bear with me. Like I said, I'm on a trackpad. So you go up here to performance now. So from Seller Central, your login up here at the top, you're going to go to performance, and you'll see your feedback right here. And that's how you get to this page. So it gives you your 30-day, your 90, 365, and lifetime. So you can see here, I've got, it shows 5-star or 4.9 stars during time selling on Amazon. I've got 707. I'm going to make it full screen here. 707 reviews. So I'm at 600 and something on eBay and 700. I've got about 100 more on Amazon. Now you can see in my lifetime, 707, I've had 12 negatives, three neutrals. But what displays, what's important to me is what displays in the last year. So in the last year is what will display by your name when somebody's buying from you. They will see, when they see your feedback score, they don't see your lifetime. They see your 365-day score, which is currently right now for me at 97%. So I've got 2 negatives. Oh, I can't, that's 2%. 4 negatives, 2 neutrals in the last 365 days out of 194, making me 97%. And what has happened is, in the past, when you had a negative feedback, you could just come down here and and this is kind of how you would take care of a feedback now. So I want to kind of address that. So right now, if you get a negative feedback, here's the steps that you're going to take. Well, actually, before I go into that, let me kind of talk to you about what Amazon's doing. So if you go down, let's say you want to remove a feedback and you want to go open a ticket, which is what you used to do in the past. You could come down here to get support and you could open a ticket. Well, now when you click get support, you get a nice big window right here that says manage customer feedback. We strongly suggest that you work with buyers to resolve negative feedback. What's funny about this is Amazon makes it impossible to work with the buyers. You cannot contact them. It is impossible. It is next to impossible to contact a buyer and work with them to remove feedback. Most buyers opt out of emails, so you can't do that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then here's the kicker. As a general rule, Amazon does not remove buyer feedback, even if it's unwarranted or the issue has been resolved. So even if the feedback does not apply, okay, it's unwarranted, or the issue has been resolved, you took care of the customer, they are not going to remove the feedback. So basically what Amazon's saying is, hey, we are not protecting the seller. We do not care about you as a seller. We don't care, if you are getting abused by buyers. We don't care if you are getting impacted negatively with sales because of feedback that is unwarranted, or we don't care if you've resolved the issue with the buyer. We're not removing the feedback. So what this tells me is I'm not going to jump over backwards and to refund customers and to make customers happy, because it doesn't matter. Amazon's not going to take the feedback off. And they also make it incredibly difficult for the customer themselves, if they want to remove the feedback, to do it. I've had customers in the past where we've been able to communicate with the customer and have them try to remove the feedback. And it's like beating your head against the wall. It's very, very difficult. So I kind of wanted to show you that this is what I saw the other day. And I posted this on Instagram. So it's on my IG account. It's at ResaleChamp. And that this is what, Amazon's basically telling you as an Amazon seller, hey, we are not going to remove feedback, even if it's unwarranted. The only time they remove it, obscene language. So if the customer curses or puts obviously something what they consider obscene, seller-specific, personally identifiable information. I've never in my 6+ years of selling on Amazon ever had somebody put in personal information about me. The entire feedback comment is a product review. I'm surprised that line is still in there, because they don't honor it. They don't care if it's a product review. If you open a ticket and say it's a product review, they don't care if they'll still leave it. So they don't even honor that. It does say they will strike through feedback in the following cases if it's the feedback comments regarding a fulfillment by Amazon order. So I've had this happen, but I've also seen a lot of cases where it didn't happen. So let me show you back. Let me take you back to my feedback screen. Keep getting my screen's confused here. And I'm going to wrap this up. But all right, so I do have, so right here, the Mac product liner never arrived. The day it was supposed to at my address. So here's one right here. Amazon automatically crossed out. So I didn't open a ticket for that. Amazon did it themselves. Do I have any more? No. Okay. So here's my one from May 30th. So this will fall off in 2 days, and my 30 days will be 100% unless somebody else leaves a. This was a review left by a customer, and actually this was an accurate review, sort of. They did say that I had extra paper in the box to make up a weight difference, and that's not true. But it was missing pieces. I thought it wasn't, and when I got the item back, it was missing one thing, actually 2 things. So that was warranted. I'm surprised I didn't get a negative. They just gave me a neutral, but it doesn't really matter with Amazon. Anyway, so Amazon basically is saying, look, we're not taking any more feedbacks off, and here's the process right now. So basically, if I was going to have this feedback removed? So here's on this one. Basically, here's my options. I can say contact customer. I could click right here in the feedback. So here's the process to get this taken care of. You go here and you click beside the feedback to the right, and it says choose one, and there's a drop down. It says contact customer, post a public reply, request removal. So you would click on request removal, and then you're going to write in what, basically it's a product review, which is what most of them are. And then you want it removed, and that opens a case. Well, actually it goes into it's an automatic removal request. That's how you do it. Now, most cases, the automatic removal request, this is what it's been. Now, they may have changed it in the last day or two since they put that messaging up there on the screen. But basically what it used to do, you would request that removal, would be an automatic request. So I do this on every single feedback. If it's neutral or negative, every single neutral, negative feedback, so 1, 2, or 3, I go in here and request removal on every one. That's an automatic removal request, or was. I don't know if it currently still is. And it will be an automatic thing. Now, it'll come back, and either Amazon will say, we did find that this violates our policy, and they'll cross it out or remove it. Or they'll say, in most cases, it says, we did not find that this violated our policy. Now, what it does is it creates a ticket at that point, and you have the option to go in there and say, does this satisfy? It'll have a thing that says, did this satisfy your request? And you would say no, and then it'll basically open a ticket for a manual person to go in and look at it. And then you go in there and you type in, okay, this was a feedback review. I mean, not feedback. This was a review, not a feedback, and I want it removed. Now, that is your one and last only chance to get somebody to look at this. In most cases, I find they won't remove it, but I've had a couple where they have, and that's it. So once that reply comes back as yes, we're removing it, or no, we're not, you're done. What's happened is another thing Amazon started doing. If you go in and try to open a ticket, well, they made it almost impossible for you to open a ticket to remove a feedback. But even if you manage to get one through, they will come back and tell you by creating tickets to remove feedback outside of the feedback process, which I just showed you, you click on the request removal, will warrant possible account suspension. So they're telling you they will kick you off Amazon if you continue to ask for your product for feedback to be removed. So basically stop doing it. Here's another thing, contact customer. So this is interesting. When you click on contact customer, this is what you get now. This access path is not supported. Please follow these steps to contact your buyer. They won't even let you contact the buyer. They're telling you in that message that I showed you that they want you to contact the buyer, but you can't. When you go to click on contact buyer, it won't let you go to it. They've opted out of emails. You basically can't email them. Long story short is this. Always go through the automatic removal option. always follow up. If they don't automatically remove it, follow up with a request to have the open a case to have it removed. If they don't remove it, you're done. Move on. Don't fume about it. Don't get angry about it. Don't dwell on it. Just move on, because everybody in selling on Amazon is under the same thing. I know of Amazon sellers with had 100% feedback, been selling for years and years, have always had 100% feedback, and now they don't, because of this new policy change with Amazon. So everybody's in the same boat. Some of us are going to be, probably in the 90s, from now on, 90% and up. And that's the new norm. I can only hope that Amazon will not take that into account in their algorithm, or if they're giving you a lower threshold, maybe 80%, and lower, maybe they kind of kick out of the algorithm. So, wanted to share that with you. It sucks, but it's one of those things with selling on Amazon. It's their platform. You have to take it as it comes. But I look forward to doing more of these videos. Hopefully they are helpful to you. And if they are, please like the video, subscribe, so you can see these come out every week, typically on Mondays. And I will keep trying to help bring you more and good content. Feel free to comment below on stuff that you might want to hear about. I'd be glad to try to put that into the rotation. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.